The Indians won for the third time on this four-game homestand thanks to a familiar formula, late-inning magic at Progressive Field. Tonight, they look to make it back-to-back wins over the pesky Twins behind Josh Tomlin, seeking his first win in almost a month. And we've got it all next for you on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, it's Indians baseball. Tonight, the Indians continue their three-game series against the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning and former Tribe skipper Mike Hargrove. Indians get a much-needed win last night in the series opener against the Minnesota Twins. And, Mike, it was thanks in part to Carlos Santana, who's really been swinging the bat hot lately, especially from the right side of the plate. What have you noticed that's getting him going?
Well, the thing about you being a switch hitter, you obviously do feel more comfortable from one side to the other. You've watched his legs and his feet especially, and he's a lot quieter from the right side. He's using the whole field, really, from right center field over left field, standing in the middle of the field and taking the ball where it's pitched, and you can see the benefits of doing it that way. 7
of his last 13 with 9 driven in from the right side of the plate for Carlos Santana. And, Rick, that's especially important because there's a left-hander on the hill tonight for Minnesota. As we take a look at our pitching matchup, it's brought to you by Ram Trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram.
The left-hander Brian Dunsing going against the Indians, 8-10 on the year, but on the road his ERA much better. He's 3-5 this year. Matched up against Josh Tomlin, 7-2. He's pitched very well in this ballpark, and in his last start, his home state down in Texas, he pitched a whale of a ball game. He had nothing to show for it because the bullpen gave up, but his command was there. He had control of all his pitches. He got a double play ball, and he really did pitch well enough to win. Unfortunately, they did not do that, and he'll be right back out into a ballpark that's very favorable for Josh.
Indians got the win last night, looking to make it 2 straight over the Minnesota Twins. We're back with the play-by-play action coming up next, right here on Sports Time Ohio. On a beautiful night in downtown Cleveland, the Indians will try to make it 2 straight against the Minnesota Twins. Tribe 59-57, 3 games in back of front-running Detroit in the AL Central. Minnesota, meanwhile, has lost 9 of their last 11. Josh Tomlin on the hill for the Indians. He has a word with home plate umpire Doug Eddings. We'll take a look at Ron Gardenhire's starting lineup for Minnesota tonight. Denard Span, Matt Tolbert, Joe Mauer at the top. Then it's Justin Morneau, Jason Kubel, and Jim Thome in the middle. Danny Valencia, Delman Young, and Tsuyoshi Nishioka round it out.
Josh Tomlin on the mound, making start number 24 this year for him. He is 11-5, and he has done a great job. Coming off a terrific start down in his home state of Texas, where he went 7 innings, had 4 hits. 2 runs given up were given up by the bullpen. His problem, he walked 3, and then he went 7 solid innings. In the 8th inning, he walked the leadoff man. They got a base hit. He was out of the ball game. and had a no decision for that start. And that's only the third time this year that he had walked more than 2 guys in a game. His first 2 times were his first 2 games of the year, and then his last start. So Tomlin this year 0-1 against the Twins in his 2 starts. Let's take a look at the Indians' defense, brought to you by Pat O'Brien Chevrolet, saluting the men and women defending our country and watching on the Armed Forces Network. Carrera in left, Fugudome in center, Chu is back in right. Hanahan gets the start at third this evening as Drubel at short. Donald at second. Laporta is at first with Santana behind the plate.
There is some discrepancy between the home plate umpire's watch, Tim Belcher's watch, and the in-stadium clock, and it looks like they've just adjusted the in-stadium clock. It was at 7:02, and Doug Eddings was telling Josh Tomlin to slow down, and Tim Belcher was saying, I've got 7:05, he's right on time, and boom, magically the clock jumped ahead to 7:05. Yep. So we are ready to go here at Progressive Field as Denard Span climbs in for Minnesota.
I believe Belcher, he's ready. His clock is right.
Well, you get your pitcher ready to pitch, he's ready to pitch. I don't care what the clock says or the umpire.
And Josh Tomlin, a first pitch strike to Denard Span. He was 0 for 4 in last night's series opener. Grounder towards first, a diving stop by Laporta, and he robs Span of extra bases with a terrific play for out number 1.
Now that saves an extra base hit. Denard Span, that's a beautiful play by Matt Laporta going to his glove side. You can see he is off the line. The ball in fair territory. Laporta gets up quickly, steps on the bag. Nice play.
Matt's a good athlete. You know, he worked awfully hard in spring training to improve his defense, and he's just a good athlete. You get good athletes in good positions, and they make plays.
Matt Tolbert looks at a ball outside. 1-1 the count. Now, Matt Tolbert came on late in last night's game. Remember, Alexi Casilla hurt himself running down the line. He re-aggravated a hamstring injury. He had just come off the DL for that, and what do you know, he's right back on the DL again here today. So Tolbert's back in there. But after the game last night, Mike, I was curious to get your thoughts. Ron Gardenhire was extremely angry at the way his team played defensively. He didn't single anybody out by name when he talked to the media, but he was talking about Tolbert, who missed a couple of plays at second when he came in. He was obviously talking about Nishioka, who butchered a few plays at shortstop. But he was pretty furious with the way they played.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, most of the time when a manager is upset with the way they play, it has more to do with the fact that were they mentally ready to play. You know, Nishioka came in and charged the ground ball that Travis Hafner hit, and he didn't have to play it that way because Hafner can't run. Tolbert came in to play second base, and 3 of the first 4 balls were hit his direction, and he butchered 2 of them. Made a great play on the third one up the middle, and that just, to me, watching it, told me the kid wasn't ready he wasn't ready mentally to play, and I think that's probably, you know, what got Gardy's goat more than anything.
Here's Joe Mauer with 2 down and the bases empty, taking a strike. He was 0 for 4 in last night's series opener. The 0-1 pitch, and it's popped up foul down the line, heading toward the seats and out of play. Ron Gardenhire said after the game, they only put 1 error up on the board, but he said if I was the official scorer, there would have been at least 4 errors up on that board last night, and that just spoke to the anger that he had after that game. Because Carl Pavano, hey, let's tell it like it is. Pavano pitched a great game for the Twins last night. He had a tremendous changeup.
He was about as good as you can be last night, and they could have won that ball game 1-0.
Now the 0-2. Had him way out in front. A great pitch by Josh Tomlin to retire Joe Mauer, and the Twins go 1-2-3. The Indians coming to bat when we come back. Brian Dunsing. And Maniac's starting 9 looks like this, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Shin-Soo Choo in the leadoff spot. Then it's Jason Donald getting the start at second base as Drupal Cabrera batting third. Carlos Santana hits cleanup, then Shelly Duncan in left. Kosuke Fukudome hitting 6th. Matt Laporta, Jack Hanahan getting the start tonight batting 8th. And Ezekiel Carrera will hit 9th.
Brian Dunsing on the mound, the left-hander for the Minnesota Twins, making his 23rd start, a record of 8-10, 456 earned run average. He has pitched better on the road. He's 3-5, but he has a better ERA. 132 and a third innings. He has beaten the Indians this year. That's coming back on April 23rd. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits and just 1 run, and he had 10 runs of support in that ball game. So that was an easy one to pitch in.
Dunsing leans Chu back out of the way. And Shin-Soo Choo 1 for 4 last night at his return to the lineup.
He has been tough against left-handed batters. The Indians have 4 in there, a .218 average this year to lefties, and only 5 extra base hits.
Maniac has left-handed batters Jason Kipnis, Michael Brantley, Travis Hafner, and Lonnie Chisenhall all on the bench tonight. Chu takes a strike. It's 2-1. High pop. Out goes Tolbert. And the second baseman's the only guy there, and he does make the catch. He took a circuitous route, but he hangs on for out number 1.
Circuitous route.
It's a $5 word.
How do you? What does that mean? I'll tell you what.
Not direct.
He was battling that wind, and you keep the feet moving, boy, when you're going out there. And that was up there for quite some time. I'm surprised an outfielder didn't come help him out.
They took the more direct route instead of the circuitous route.
Yeah, only it was slow.
That's
it was
right.
a slower route coming in.
You got to be from Ashton to understand that.
I think you do. I think you do.
I don't think so.
I do.
Here's Jason Donald. And he bounces one towards second. It kicks off Tolbert. He recovers and fires. It's not in time. Oh, somebody keep the sharp objects away from Ron Gardenhire.
Well, that's not the way you want to start defensively because, then you start putting pressure on yourself. They struggled, the middle infielders for the Twins yesterday. You come right back in the first inning, a routine ground ball. That ball hops up. Tolbert doesn't feel it cleanly by the time he recovers and throws the first. Donald beats it out, so an error already on the Twins.
Well, it's tough to do anything when you're back on your heels, and that's exactly the position his feet were in and his weight on his heels, let the ball play him. Really got a decent hop. He'd taken one step forward, he catches that ball easily.
As Drupal Cabrera takes a strike over the outside corner.
But I guess sometimes it's easier said than done.
It's always easier up here.
And I noticed that the farther you get away from the field, the easier, the better we were, and the easier the game is. You're right.
Cabrera looks, it's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the 1-1. And Cabrera shoots it out of play the other way. Well, I mentioned Alexi Casilla was placed back on the disabled list for Minnesota tonight. And boy, guys, looking around baseball, injuries are piling up everywhere. The Pirates just put Derek Lee on the DL. He was hit by a pitch and fractured a bone in his wrist. The bizarre scenario is the one involving the Chicago Cubs' Carlos Zambrano.
I quit.
Who gave up 5 home runs last night and then got ejected from the game when he threw at Chipper Jones, walked into the clubhouse, told the clubby, I quit, cleared out his locker and left. And Mike Quaddy, the manager, afterwards said, I have no idea what's going on here. He didn't tell anybody other than the clubby. The Cubs were then informed within 2 hours at the end of the game that he was not going to retire. But Cubs GM Jim Henry said, enough of this. They put him on the 30-day disqualification list. Well, that's without pay. Now Zambrano's expected to file a grievance with the Players Association. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But it's pretty much a mess.
I quit.
Is there anything worse within the confines of a clubhouse than a guy just flat out quitting?
No.
Like that?
No, you're talking to the wrong guy. I quit in Seattle, so I don't. No, that's a, you've got to understand and realize that it's an emotional moment. Obviously, Zambrano's an emotional guy, and a little bit of that stuff goes a long way after a while. You know, you do get tired of it, because it does disrupt the clubhouse. It does disrupt your ball club, and you don't know which way this guy's going to jump, the next time. And sometimes you have to get people's attention. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I kind of respect and admire Jim Hendry for taking this step. Hopefully it works.
The 1-2 pitch to Cabrera fouls it off again, stays alive. Other injuries, Xavier Nady for the Diamondbacks was hit by a pitch, broke a bone in his hand, so he's on the DL. Justin Smoke, you told me about this one, Rick, last night.
Right between the eyes.
Suffered a fractured nose on a ground ball to first.
Yeah, one hopper right between the eyes last night in that late game, Boston-Seattle.
Well, I bet he's a pretty picture today.
Oh, boy, you bet.
Now the 1-2 to Cabrera. Tried to hold up. They'll appeal. He went too far, says Dana DeMuth, the crew chief. And Cabrera doesn't like the call, but he's out number 2.
Well, I have seen a lot worse not called, and we'll get another look at it from the side. What do you think? No, I don't think he went at all, to be honest with you. Well, let's take a look at the Twins Home Depot defense. It's Young in left, Span in center, Kubel is in right, Valencia at third, Nishioka at second, Tolbert is at second, Morneau is at first, Mauer behind the plate. More savings, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Carlos Santana, 2 for 4 with a RBI double last night. Taking it, it's low for ball 1. We talked about it in the open. Santana's been on a tear from the right side of the plate in particular here of late. On the year, he's a .306 hitter from the right side of the plate.
Well,
unfortunately, there's almost a 100-point difference right side to left side for him.
Well, it's tough to maintain swings from both sides of the plate. He has really had most of his at bats from the left side, but he's in a really good spot right now from the right side because he's very patient. He's seeing the ball well, and he's using the whole field, and I think that helps him out immensely.
2 balls in a strike.
I'm not saying he's not more comfortable, because I think you're right. I think he is more comfortable and sees the ball better from the right side right now. But he, as you said, the most of his at bats that come from the left side, he's got to feel more locked in on that side. The right side's a little more unfamiliar, and so your concentration level has to go up accordingly to make up for that. And I bet that has a lot to do with the fact that he's swinging the bat so well from the right side.
Well, we went out on the last road trip when we were in Boston and then went to Texas. We faced 3 consecutive left-handed pitchers. He had a good day in Boston the one day, and then it just followed suit. The next day he came out and had a good day, and the next day he came out and had 5 RBIs and 2 at-bats. That ball, that's a pass ball on Mauer.
He just missed that.
Yeah, he sure did.
It hit his shin guard and broke a piece of it off. Might have been that extra flap on the bottom that protects the toe area.
Well, he hit his foot so hard it might have been that extra bone he has in his toe.
Runner in scoring position with 2 down now, and a 3-1 pitch to Santana.
Change up. Good one. Very good pitch. You're sitting in a fastball count right here. Good location. He gets Santana out in front. See if that extra out in this inning, Indians can make the Twins pay. Not only was it the error to let him on first base, then the pass ball to let him get to scoring position.
Santana steps away. '18th pitch of the first inning for left-hander Brian Dunsing. And Carlos pops it straight up. The shortstop Nishioka makes the catch, and the inning is over, so the error does no damage. And we are scoreless after 1. McDonald's, the Mango Pineapple Real Fruit Smoothie has arrived. By your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. And by AT&T. We're back here at Progressive Field, no score. Second inning. Justin Morneau, Jason Kubel, and Jim Thome due up for the Indians. Morneau looks at a ball inside. Josh Tomlin, a 1-2-3 first inning on 9 pitches. By the way, the move that the Twins ended up making is that's fouled on the right side. They called Trevor Plouffe back up.
Yeah,
Remember,
they just sent him out.
They just sent him out yesterday, but because it's an injury, you're allowed to bring him back without having to wait the 10 days. And for the Twins, they probably haven't had to wait 10 days all year long. Every time they've sent somebody down, it seems like there's been an injury. Ron Gardenhire joked about it yesterday. He said, well, we had the lineup that I wanted for about 25 minutes yesterday, and then Michael Kadire got hurt in taking extra BP. Morneau out in front, pops it up. Into foul ground. Matt Laporta has that. One away. Take a look at our trivia question tonight. It's brought to you by AT&T.
I'm going to save this for Grover.
Archie already has the answer.
Between the 20-win seasons of Gaylord Perry and Cliff Lee, 4 Indians pitchers won 19 games in a season. Can you name all 4?
Okay. I can name one.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, you can write it down.
I would, but you guys are hogging all the pins.
Got to bring your own to the table, pal.
Yeah, this isn't community chest. There's a ground ball to first. It's fair over the bag. Laporta hangs with it. 2 down.
We're mean up here.
Jim Thome comes to the plate. Remember this one? His first home run in the big leagues in Yankee Stadium, upper deck shot, number 6. Boy, he was just a raw kid at that point in his career.
And I'll tell you what, he can still hit him just as far. You find that nitro zone down in the strike zone. You have to elevate the ball to Jimmy, get it that belt. He's got that uppercut like so many left-handers have. But if you get it down in the zone, he can go anywhere, any part of the ballpark.
Tomlin's 1-1.
I'll never forget, we showed a clip this year when Jimmy hit a home run, and Delman Young was on deck, and he hit one, and Young's face just, I mean, we showed the clip.
He dropped his jaw.
He opened his mouth. He couldn't believe it was hit so far.
Jimmy can do that. You got to, you really have to keep the ball in on his hands. You throw the ball inside, like you said, and with a little bit of heat right at his hands, and he just can't quite catch up to it anymore right there.
Right. Oh, good. And he takes so many pitches that are close. I mean, that's why he stays. He goes deep into the counts, and he gives himself an opportunity every at bat.
Tomlin into the line, the 2-2. Mike, you obviously saw Jim as a young player. When did you see potential superstar start to blossom? How many years into his career?
Probably when we moved him to first base. I felt like when we moved him to first base and took away the pressure of playing third base, because his throwing really became a mental thing for him. When we moved him over to first base, he relaxed. He was a good first baseman. He always had good hands, and he really let his bat, be the telling thing. And when he did that, and his first big year when he hit a lot of home runs and hit in the middle of the order, you could tell he really had a chance to be something real special.
He and Ramirez came up. They were hitting 7th and 8th in a lineup for a while, for a long time.
I was looking at the lineup.
High pop, shallow right.
Early on, and had Jimmy hitting 8 and Manny hitting 9, and I'm thinking, who's the idiot that put those guys hitting 8 and 9? But I believe that I believe that you can protect your young hitters that way.
Bottom of the second inning here at Progressive Field. No score. Shelley Duncan, Kosuke Fukudome, and Matt Laporta due up for the Indians. Up high, ball one from left-hander Brian Dunsing. That'll even it up at 1-1 Dunsing, former third-round pick back in 2005 out of Nebraska. Pitched in the Olympic Games of 2008 in China for Team USA.
Well, that's his location there, the right-handers, that little sinker down and away and the changeup away.
Here's the 1-2. And Duncan takes a called third strike for out number one.
Well, bring the dogs out to Progressive Field for Puppy Palooza. You get a ticket for you and your dog for the Indians-Mariners game. That'll be Tuesday, August 23rd for just $30. You arrive early and walk your dog around the warning track and a pregame parade. Visit Indians.com/puppypalooza for the full details.
Here is Kosuke Fukudome, 1 for 4 last night. And Dunsing hits ahead with a fastball for strike one.
Woof, woof.
Breaking ball is up high. Last 8 games, Fukudome 11 hits. 4 multi-hit games during that time. That's outside, and it's 2-2. Third strikeout for Dunsing, 2 down here in the second. After the game tonight, stay tuned for a replay of the Cleveland Browns Green Bay Packers preseason game. Check out the new look offense and defense in the first preseason game of the year. It's tonight at midnight following our game right here on STO. I don't know about you guys, but driving into the ballpark here this evening was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be with the Browns playing downtown tonight.
Little preseason game, that's all.
I don't know if it's because of the construction, or not the construction, but the East 9th being closed for the
No, I think they came down this morning.
Well,
they were already parked.
7:30, 8 o'clock.
That's
yeah,
right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, getting around anymore, it's like a treasure hunt. You got to have a map to
yeah, it is
see
difficult.
where you can go, where you can't. It's almost like, okay, let's see how hard we can make it for people to come downtown to the Browns games or the Indians games.
2-strike pitch to Matt Laporta. Yeah, it's down low.
And, of course, when you're a dummy like me and miss your turn, then you really
missed
start
it
panicking.
today and then had to go roundabout, didn't you?
Yeah.
Should be like Matt and have a driver.
The 1-2. No, that's when the GPS is saying stop, turn around, go back.
If I'd had my GPS today, it would have been smoking.
Where are you going? It would have been asking you questions. The 2-2. Popped foul down the right side. That's going to make it to the seats.
Well, I knew I was still in Ohio, but there at the end, I wasn't real sure whether.
Matt Laporta, the broken bat RBI double last night. Calls for time and steps away. And as you guys have both told me before, sometimes when you're struggling, hey, you don't, I mean, broken bat off the end, doesn't matter, little dribbler.
Anything positive.
Yeah.
Anything positive that you can get out of an at-bat, and there you go.
There's a line drive base hit to right center for Laporta.
Well, the big difference last night in Matt's last at-bat and the previous at-bats he had before the hit, even though he got a broken bat, is that it really was real obvious he was trying to go to right field with everything. That last at bat, he attacked the ball, and he attacked the ball right there, and hit it where it's pitched. I mean, and that's the one thing you can't ever forget as a hitter. So no matter where you're trying to hit the ball, no matter where he's pitching you, whatever ball you go after, you have to attack it. You don't try to make contact. You attack it, and he did in that last at bat, and it paid off for him.
And he was down in the count 0-2.
Right.
You know, got it back to 2-2, and then he got a base hit.
Jack Hanahan, playing time a little sparse for him lately. Trying to stop an 0 for 11.
It always seems like when you're in a position that Jack's in, he's a great guy and a great teammate, I think a big plus for this ball club, is that when you do get your playing time finally, it's against some tough left-hander that you're turning the barrel.
Well, Chisenhall is playing every day against the righties, and Donald has been getting some starts against the lefties. There, the boy. Go. There you go.
And you know what? Here's the thing, though. Jack Hanahan, while he's a left-handed hitter, has hit 100 points higher against left-handed pitching this year. It doesn't stand to reason, but it's been good for him.
It does if you think about it, and Rick knows this because being a left-hand hitter, when you face a left-hander, there are really basic things you have to do differently than against right-handers. And a lot of things that you take for granted because you see the ball better and you have the ball coming into you as a left-hand hitter from a right-hand pitcher. The things that you take for granted, you really have to think about and concentrate on. And so you start simplifying a lot of things. You don't try to do too much with the bat. You just try to attack it and make good, solid contact, and you get the results that Jack has gotten. I think that's a big reason that his numbers are the way they are.
Ezekiel Carrera trying to come through the 2-out RBI hit now after back-to-back singles that followed back-to-back strikeouts. Carrera was 3 for 4 last night.
He's 9 for 20 with runners in scoring position. He's really had a lot of success.
But he's quickly down on the count 0-2. Carrera was 3 for 4 last night, as I mentioned, and all 3 hits were on the infield.
Those are the best. Well, one nice bunt hit.
Slowly tapped towards short. Nishioka on the big hop. Throws, and they just did get him. Carrera's speed made it close, but the inning is over. And after 2, we are scoreless in Cleveland. Remind you to stay tuned later in the game to see our Miller taste great in this moment. Bottom third of the Minnesota order due up here against Josh Tomlin. Susie's birthday out. Okay. Rick, she wants you to sign her red mitt.
I'd be happy to.
I thought it said sign my red leg. And I thought, what in the world?
Your eyes are going, man.
Yeah, they are, I'm telling you. Yeah, they say when you get old that the first
hearing?
two things that you lose, and first was your memory, and you can't really remember what the second one was.
Danny Valencia, a couple of hits last night and a run scored. '72 happy birthday wishes to somebody's grandpa. Popped up back behind the plate. Headed just into the upper deck. Valencia had his 11-game hitting streak snapped on July 28th.
Speaking of birthdays out there, well, Eugene Scott from Ravenna is turning 73. Carla Burgraff of Mansfield is 56. And our own Kelly Kelly of Brunswick is turning 34. Happy birthday to each and every one of you.
Tap foul again. This guy can put up some good at-bats.
Well, and Tomlin continues. I mean, 6 out of the first 7 batters, he's 0-2, 1-2 on the guys. So you've got a guy that can foul off a lot of pitches, but a guy that can continue to throw strikes.
Ran it inside, 2-2. Down low. Full count. And it will be an 8-pitch at bat at least for Danny Valencia. Swing and a miss. He got him. Went up the ladder for his first strikeout.
Well, he hit everything else around. Why not go upstairs? Check it out on the Time Warner Cable pitch tracker. He's going to elevate the fastball. And, boy, he chased it. That was really high. But he was fouling off everything else, looking down and away out of the zone. So Josh knows I'll elevate it. He gets strikeout number 1.
He hit about every spot he could trying to find his hole, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Delman Young getting the start in left field tonight, and he rips it foul down the right side into the seats. Jamie Pye, an usher here at Progressive Field, missed his birthday last night. He was at the game with 29 members of his family and friends celebrating here at the ballpark. So, Jamie, hope you had a great birthday last night. Our minor league report tonight brought to you by Kia. Nick Hagedorn last night in a 6-3 win against Rochester for AAA Columbus got the save, working an inning and a third. 9 strikeouts in his last 9 innings of work for the left-hander. Nishioka takes a strike. And a liner just off the glove of Donald at second. And into center where Carrera picks it up quickly. Excuse me, Fukudome grabbed that and fired it back in.
Well, I'll tell you what. Jason Donald did everything in his power to catch it. It went off leather. He had it timed beautifully. He jumps up, and look at that. That would have been a spectacular catch. It just hit off the end of the glove and the fingers of it. He needed to be about 3 inches taller. Good effort, but a first base hit for the Twins with 2 outs here in the third.
Ground ball to second. And Donald throws him out to end the inning. So the Twins get their first hit, but Josh Tomlin keeps putting up zeros. Bottom of the third here at Progressive Field. No score. It will be the top of the order for the Tribe. Shin-Soo Choo, Jason Donald, and Asdrubal Cabrera. Choo popped up on the infield his first time up. And it's the second time he's been knocked down tonight.
Well, Buzz the light tower, and that's not a bad pitch, man. Left-hander, you figure he's going to be sitting looking something away. First pitch. Make him lose that toe hold.
It's outside 2-0.
You know, I would say that 90% of the outs made are made on pitches away.
Right.
But you've got to pitch in to get that pitch away.
Establish
to get that out.
it.
You've got to. Or people, you know, the hitters today wearing all that armor on their arms.
Right.
That's because they're leaning out of the plate. They're diving out there to try to take that
They're
outside
not
pitch
worried
away.
about the
No,
inside
they're not at all.
pitch. That is so true.
Ball 4. He walked him on 4 straight. Indians get their leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight.
Yeah, it's the first walk for Brian Dunsing. You know, and that first pitch may upset him a little bit because then he tried to go away and he missed. So 4 straight to Choo, and he'll take his base.
Going to bring up Jason Donald. Donald bounced one at second baseman Matt Tolbert his first time up, and Tolbert booted it for an error.
You talk about a guy that's had a lot of adversity, or dealt with a lot of adversity this year. You know, he had the third base job in spring training, broke his hand.
And he's a good kid, too, and he works hard at his trade.
Yes, he is. I spent a lot of time with him in spring training. He came over and played a little first base when we were working with Santana and Laporta, and but I guess he got real comfortable with me because he started calling me Grovey after a while.
Grovey?
Yeah, that's
the new wave version.
I've never been called Grovey.
Tried to push bunt, fouls it back. Better than groovy, I guess.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Groovy, Grovey.
We all know I'm not groovy.
Jason Donald. And, you know, he's hit some balls hard since he got the call up, and I don't know if you just call it tough luck or good plays made against him, but he's hit some balls right on the screws.
You know, when you're used to playing every day, and you have been in the minor leagues.
Bounced up the middle. That one finds a hole. Chu hits the bag, stops at second base. Put the brakes on quickly because Span got to it in a hurry.
Yeah, wisely stopped at second base. But this ball gets through. For Jason Donald, when you're normally playing every day and you only get spot starts here or there at the big league level, it's tough to maintain, any kind of consistency at this level. I mean, these pitchers attack your weaknesses, and they continue to do that. So it's tough not to play every day and continue something and stay hot as a young player. But he gets a base hit there.
Well, he's got him set up now. The Indians' best hitter on the year as Drupal Cabrera steps in, batting .290, 19 homers, 68 driven in. And looks at a ball down low. On the year as Drupal has batted .333 with runners in scoring position. And on a pretty good run of late with hits in 13 of his last 14 games. Driven to deep left. Young looking up. It is gone to Souvenir City. As Drupal Cabrera's 20th home run of the year stakes the Indians to a 3-0 lead.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. In his first at-bat, he was trying to shoot everything the other way. He was late on swings and things like that, but not on this one. He got a pitch to his liking, and he drove it out of the park. This home run replay brought to you by Great Clips. Great needs, great deeds, great clips. And look at that pitch. Boom, it is gone in a hurry. He knew it on the home run porch. The Tribe leads it 3-0.
Josh Tomlin loving that, no question about it.
Fun to watch good hitters.
Yes, it is. Number 20. He had 18 in his whole career coming into this year, and he has 20 this year. That's a remarkable season.
What's remarkable is usually a lot of times when you see that much of a difference in home run production, usually you see the batting average drop. And he's still hitting, 290, 285, 290, 295.
He's been consistent all year long, and he's been the big man in the middle part of the lineup.
Yes, he has.
Santana with a pretty good pop to right. Kubel back, pulls it down on the front part of the warning track for out number 1.
Well, enjoy a day or night at the ballpark with family and friends at the KeyBank Grand Slam 4-pack. You get 4 tickets, food, 4 Indians caps, and parking. Everything you need in one easy, affordable package. Visit Indians.com, or you can call 216-420-HITS.
Here is Shelley Duncan, called out on strikes his first time up. And he took a big rip, came up empty.
Shelley's first at bat, he struck out, did not get the bat off his shoulder. You could have made $1 million if you'd have bet he'd swing at first pitch this at bat.
Now the 1-1 in there for a strike. And there's more good news. Baltimore out to a 5-0 lead against the Tigers in the second inning in Baltimore.
Yes,
Shelley couldn't hold up. And he strikes out for the second time tonight. 2 down here in the third.
There's one there. You go like a little back foot slider, and he just couldn't check his swing. He goes down for the second time. Dunson gets his 4th.
Kosuke Fukudome, strikeout victim his first time up. Fouls it right back. Low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. All started with a walk, a 4-pitch walk to Shin-Soo Choo. Then the bouncing ball by Donald that went through the middle, and Cabrera with a 3-run homer to stake the Indians to the lead here in inning number 3. As Drupal with home run number 20. What a season he is having. The 1-2. A little bit outside. And he punches it into right field for a base hit. A 2-out single keeps the inning alive. And the 7th man to bat here in inning number 3 is Matt Laporta.
Thought this looked like a little slider. Yeah, down in the zone. He just didn't get it away. Had a little too much of the plate. Fukudome kept his hands back enough to hit it in the right field. Hit number 5 for the Tribe, 3rd in the inning.
Now Matt Laporta. He had a good solid line drive base hit his first time up into right center field. Brian Dunsing now at 60 pitches on the night. Turned it loose, came up empty. It's 1-1. Dunsing ready now. Fukudome takes off, swing and a miss, and the throw down is in time. That'll end the inning. But it's Drupal Cabrera's 20th home run of the year as the Indians in front 3-0 after 3 innings. Back here at Progressive Field, we go to the fourth inning. Indians now with a 3-0 lead. Josh Tomlin facing Matt Tolbert, then Joe Mauer and Justin Morneau. Here in inning number 4, Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, and real happy to be joined now by Hall of Famer Gaylord Perry.
Thanks. It's nice to be here with you guys.
It's great to have
I
you.
was just telling Rick I wish we'd have something like this to play in.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, man, you could control that center field like nobody's business.
Bounce to third. Hanahan with a
Look
nice
at that.
pick. Pops out of his glove, and he still recovers to throw him out. One down here in the fourth, and any pitcher's got to love to watch that great defense behind him, huh?
Well, I was just getting ready to say something. We had 2 great third basemen when I played here in Cleveland. Greg Nettle to start with.
Right.
And when the Yankees then had Buddy Bell to come up.
Right.
So they wouldn't have bobbed that ball. No.
But the bottom line is get the out, right?
That's right. Yeah, they did a great job there.
Yeah, you came over to the Indians from San Francisco for sudden Sam McDowell here, and then
Right.
won the Cy Young Award in 1972, huh?
That's right. A long time ago, wasn't it?
Well, that was a long time ago,
Yeah.
but up until, 2007, an Indians pitcher never won the Cy Young
Right.
Award. Since it was CC Sabathia, and then we had back-to-backs. Cliff Lee did it
Right.
after that.
Sure did.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about the 1972 season when you won the Cy Young here for the Indians?
Well, I started 40 games, had 40 decisions, so finished what I started most of the time.
Yeah, I'll say. What would you do with pitch counts nowadays? They tell you, hey, you got to come out of the game after 115, 120 pitches.
I know one day I was in Milwaukee and pitched 15 innings, and the manager would take me out, and we knew about how to fight. You can't take me out, man. I ain't lost this game yet. And before I got upstairs, that a lot of steps up there.
Right.
Ken Sanders to give up a home run. So I was really upset because, I had pretty good stuff and wanted to continue to pitch.
Well, you did continue to pitch, and it didn't matter where you pitched at. There's a bullet hit right off the glove of Cabrera. Let me ask you this. Toughest batter or hitter that you ever had to face?
Well, we had a lot of them, but Billy Williams hit more home runs off of me. You couldn't get him out front. He always stayed back, and it was tough. Now, Aaron got a lot of hits off of me. Mike Smith, Dick Allen, Starch on Clemente. We had a lot of pretty good hitters over there.
I know there was. And you had some rivalries when you were with the Giants. You go to the Cardinals and things like that. That was the vicious one there, wasn't it?
Cincinnati had a whole team of great hitters.
Yeah.
So it was a tough league in the 60s.
Justin Morneau with a high drive down the line, but foul.
So you're in this weekend now signing autographs, visiting the ballpark. When's the last time you've been in Cleveland?
Oh, it's been probably 4 or 5 years or more, yeah. We're having a good time, meeting some people. I met just a few minutes ago, I met the 2 girls that did my fan mail and stuff while I was in Cleveland. And they got a family and her son's pitcher in college, and it was great to see them.
I remember when I came here, you and your brother Jim were, of course, pitching here in 75. You guys raised me, so anybody that doesn't like me, I tell them I got to blame you.
Yeah, I had to find that guy because I lent him my car, and I says I want it full of gas and clean when I get back. It was empty and dirty. Yeah.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Shocker.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Kangaroo Court got him, I tell you.
Yeah, it always got me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, you guys, you kept rookies in their place, and I'll never forget I'm in the clubhouse. Hey, Rook, go get me a Coke over there in the clubhouse. You walk up and go get it.
When I was in San Francisco as a rookie, I had to do the same thing, so I might as well get some of that service also.
Oh, yeah. Best trainer you ever had? Jimmy Warfield?
Jim Warfield, by far.
I knew that.
Was not just a great trainer. We hung out together. He was a great guy. I had some great trainers. I had Bill Ziegler in Texas and San Diego. I had Dick Dent. He was outstanding. Those 3 guys was just tremendous. Dick Dent saved my career out there because I had a weak rotator cuff and
so you don't even know what it's called because they didn't have them back then.
No, we didn't have rotator cuff. But he had certain exercise and I strengthened it up, and I was 21-6 that year. So
Never had arm surgery in your life?
No.
How about that? And how many innings did you pitch in your career? Do you remember?
A little over 5,000.
How about that?
How many games do you think I completed?
Well, I'll bet you completed. Let me think about this.
Tomlin able to knock it down. He'll get the force at second. And that's out number 2.
He fields his position well, too.
Good thing you got that. He'd been
in trouble.
He'd be in the doctor's office for a while.
Oh, boy. He got leather on it. We got to look at that again.
That's outstanding play.
I mean, look at that. Comes in, and he turned, and he got leather on it. I mean, when you're a control pitcher like Josh, he lands very well, and he fields his position very well. And look at that. Quick hands. And he's aware enough to get the lead runner. Good for him. You know, Gaylor, we got to go back. This guy has the best whip, walk, and hits per 9 innings pitched since you back in 1972. Just a hair over 1 per inning, and this kid does.
When kids ask me about what's your best pitch, strikes.
Yeah, strike
got
one.
Throw strike. Walks will kill you.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. Now I got to get back to those complete games. I'd say 265.
303.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize, Pops. I apologize. 303 complete games.
You helped me complete a lot of them there when you came up.
Just a few, but by that time, then you ended up going on to Texas. And you ended up playing with this guy, Grover, that we've got sitting up here. That's his bobblehead night tonight.
Grover and I kind of didn't get along to start with, and then he became a great first baseman.
And then he was okay?
He was okay.
Did you make him become a good first baseman?
Well, I tell you what, when you have a rain delay, sometimes your players to get together and say, okay, tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And I said, well, Grover, you're a left-handed Dick Stewart. You don't know about Dick Stewart.
No, I don't know
Strange
about
Glove.
Yeah, there you go. So he was very upset. I said, well, I'll play you in the infield during batting practice $1 a boot. And I catch half of them between my legs and beat you.
And did you beat him?
To start with. But he worked so hard, he became a great first baseman.
3-0 Indians, middle of the 4th. We'll continue with Gaylord Perry in a minute. Nothing. Bottom third of the order due up here. Matt Laporta to lead off. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, and we're happy to be joined this half inning once again by Gaylord Perry, Hall of Famer, 72 Cy Young Award winner with the Indians. And Robbie Alomar was here with us last night, and he talked about what a dream come true it was for him to have the opportunity to play with Sandy, his brother, on the same team. Right. What was it like for you to play with your brother here in Cleveland?
Oh, it was outstanding. We hadn't played together since high school, and he was a pitcher then. We got in the playoffs. I became a pitcher my freshman year. I used to be a third baseman, but I had trouble hitting the curveball.
A lot of guys do.
Yeah. So I became a pitcher. It was great. But Jim would, being the older brother, much older than me, I used that hot capsule,
Yes,
on my arm.
You did.
So
more than one, too.
He would go get my T-shirts and wear them for practice so he wouldn't mess his up. And the first day he just got blistered, man. Never bother my stuff again.
If you don't know what capsulin is, it was absolutely the hottest hot stuff you could put on your arm. And when you put on your arm, it never really started to kick in until you started sweating.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't stop.
There's a liner and another base hit for Matt Laporta. He's 2 for 2 tonight with 2 almost identical swings.
That capsule's about 10 times hotter than Ben Gay.
Oh, yeah.
And how I got to know about this, in 1966, I made the All-Star team. And Sandy Koufax was using that stuff.
Who's that? Duncan. That was Duncan catching. Yeah. There you go.
Sweating.
Sweating. Always sweating.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I remember when you were in San Diego, you had that puffball, man, with all the rosin coming out.
Good puffball.
Yes, it was. Look at Dunk. I think he wanted that pitch. They didn't call it a strike.
Duncan knew that was a strike and didn't call it.
That's right.
When we got Duncan, Ray Foster is one of my favorite players. He was my catcher in 72, and then we got Duncan. But Duncan had the long hair. He was the first guy that had long hair. I wasn't too happy about that. But what a great teammate he became. I mean, great catcher, and just he paid attention to everything.
Right.
I mean, that's why he was such a great pitching coach. He was my pitching coach in Seattle, so.
I remember when you ended up going out to Seattle. That's right. Duncan was out there, and he's still with Tony La Russa in St. Louis.
Sometimes you don't know your other teammates, your opposing teammates, how they are until you play with them.
Right.
And I found out Duncan was one of the best in the business.
And Ray Fosse's still around doing the games with the Oakland A's. We get to see him. They'll be coming to Cleveland later on.
Slowly tapped to second, and a double play ball. 2 down now, and Ezekiel Carrera coming to the plate. What did you make of that new generation of player when Rick came along, Dennis Eckersley, guys with the long hair, and that?
Well, it made my job much harder. I had to kind of keep them in line, Wake up out there, Rick. Hey, pay attention. This guy hits that way. But it's really. It was my job. I was just about the senior guy there, so it was my job to make. Hey, this game is so important. One win can make a difference.
That's what you took control of the clubhouse too.
Right.
We
had. I know in San Francisco we lost the Pennant, I think about 4 years, but one game.
Wow.
So a game in April is just as important as September, and that's what these guys didn't really. They were having fun, young, having fun. So
didn't know any.
Yeah. So
you live and learn.
Yeah.
I know one thing. I wasn't allowed in the trainer's room, and I never went in. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it took me about 4 years before I got in there, and I was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But we couldn't let the rookies in there.
No, they never went in there. Jimmy Warfield was one of the nicest guys in the world, but you never went in. You just walked by and say hello.
Gaylord, thanks for stopping by.
You bet.
We appreciate
Enjoyed it.
Hall of Famer
Rick,
Gaylord Perry.
always great
tonight.
seeing you.
Nice to see you.
Indians on top 3-0. Proud to fly the Cleveland Indians. And by Panini's. Go to paninisgrill.com for their new food and drink menu and a location near you. 3-0 Indians on top, 5th inning. Jim Thome leading off. And it's Danny Valencia and Delman Young. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, and once again we're joined by Mike Hargrove. Boy, we got some dirt on you now.
Gaylord deformed my headset.
Yeah, well, he did. Yeah, sometimes you have melon heads, and some other times you have pin heads.
And then you got Gaylord heads.
Thome with a fly ball to center for out number 1.
Well, he said that one day what he did, he challenged you. You know,
he did.
In a rain delay meeting, we were in the clubhouse, we were talking about it, and you were going around, and he asked, how do you think I am defensively? And what did he tell you?
I didn't ask him. He told me. It was in the training room, and he told me I was dog doo-doo.
Well, he said you were a left-handed Dick Stewart.
That's what he said, yeah. That's right. But Dick Stewart was okay, wasn't he?
I don't. Well,
when he was Dr. Strangeglove.
Right. That was the nickname that Matt came up with. He says that's right, and he challenged you to go out there and he said he'd catch half of them between his legs and things like that. And he was a tough son of a gun.
Oh yeah, he was. He challenged. Yeah, it was in the training room, and it was a shouting match. Which I thought might win the shouting match with him, but if it came to physical fisticuffs, I had probably no chance. But yeah, he did challenge me offensively. He said you can hit. He said, but you don't get the man over, you don't get the man in, you don't. I said yes, And then it progressed into more colorful language.
Yeah.
And I took it to heart. And I did. I started working. I worked every day.
Boy, it's amazing listening to this. All I can think of is Drupal Cabrera and Carlos Santana the other day. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but there's nothing wrong with players challenging each other to become better.
You spend every day with these guys. I mean, day in and day out with these guys. You're going to argue. You're going to, have some challenges and battles, and it's great.
You take a guy that you respect and admire, like I do and did, Gaylord, and ultimate competitor.
Right.
And expected everybody around him. He didn't care if you liked him or not. He just expected you to play well.
Young with a drive deep down the left field line, but it's hooking foul.
And we had two coaches, Fred Koenig and Connie Ryan. Connie Ryan was our infield coach, and I went to him and I said, I want to work every day. I want to start at the very basic steps of catching a ground ball. I'd never had anybody explain it to me.
Right.
And so we did. For a week and a half, he rolled ground balls to me. And I wasn't too bad.
No, you became a good first baseman. I mean, say it. I mean, don't be shy. You had to work hard, though, to get there.
Yeah.
The 1-2 pitch hits the side of the mound on a perfect carom to Donald. Young is tagged out by Laporta, who came off the bag. And the Twins go 1-2-3. And we roll on 3-0 Cleveland. 3-0 Indians on top. Batting bottom of the fifth, it'll be Shin-Soo Choo, Jason Donald, and Asdrubal Cabrera. And this was the triumvirate that got the Indians rolling in the third. Choo with a 4-pitch walk started it. Then Donald with a bouncing ball single, and Asdrubal Cabrera launched one to the porch and left. And it's straight back to the screen. One and one to count. Breaking ball popped up. Out goes Tolbert, the second baseman. And he makes the
those
catch.
Outfielders don't want to help him out,
they
do
really
they?
don't. That's the outfielder's ball all the way.
And it is. You got to call him off.
All right, our game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Asdrubal Cabrera's 3-run shot, his 20th home run of the year, made it 3-zip Indians in the third. Meanwhile, Josh Tomlin, Old Man River, he just keeps right on rolling. 5 innings once again, giving up a couple of hits, couple of strikeouts. Find out about more than 30 Toyota offers available now at buyatoyota.com.
Well, that's why you run those drills in spring training.
Absolutely.
Where you go over your areas of coverage, who has a call over the other guy, and the outfield, the center fielder has a call over both outfielders and all the infielders. And that's his ball all the way. Both of those balls are his ball all the way.
I was told any ball you could ever come catch, call the infielder off. It's a much easier play for you coming in. It's twilight.
Yes.
Now watch how long this guy is. He'll say something to him. Don't be afraid to take it. You can call me off. Yeah, and that's exactly right. He's right. You can call me off, and if you could get there, call him off.
That's exactly right.
That's a tougher play for an infielder.
Is this a product of what you've talked about for as long as I've known you, it seems like? Outfielders progressively playing deeper and deeper and deeper?
Well, it could be, but you know what? Span has been in and out. He's had concussions. He's been. I mean, I'm not making an excuse for him. If he could catch that ball, call him off. He's playing tonight. That's his job.
But I'm saying, is it a product of the outfielders playing so deep that they're not able to get to the balls that they normally would get to?
That ball was hit so high, he could have been over 122nd and got there and called him off.
Yeah. Well, he passed him. I mean, he was past him.
Well, that
toward the
time for
infield.
sure, yeah.
I just don't understand. I mean, when you can do it, you do it.
Well, sometimes you get non-aggressive personalities in certain areas that they don't like to do that. They don't like to call people off. You've got it. You make the play, and it doesn't make it right. And it can really expose a lot of deficiencies in your ball club when things like that happen. As I said, you run drills in spring training. Areas of responsibility. The shortstop has the call over the third baseman. The second baseman has a call over the first baseman. The two corner infielders have the call over the catcher. All the outfielders have the call over the infielders, and then ultimately the center fielder has a call over both the left and right fielder. So it's
when you get different guys out there throughout the course of the year, like the Twins have, there's no inconsistency.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's what happens. You get guys out there and unsure, and it happens when you're playing a different lineup every day.
Asdrubal Cabrera's second hit of the night. 2-out base hit keeps the inning alive now for Carlos Santana. Here's our great clip of the game last night. Late in the game, Carlos Santana with a booming double. That came off Glenn Perkins. The first batter he faced was Santana. Relax, you're at Great Clips. That made it a 2-2 ball game, and then the Indians would go on to win it on Matt Laporta's 2-out RBI double.
And not to beat a dead horse, but those are the kind of things that will absolutely set the manager's teeth on edge.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, especially Gardenhire, the Twins, they want to play the game the right way, and when you don't do it that way and they're used to doing it, they're having a tough year. Yeah, that upsets you even more.
So what we've learned here tonight is ideally you don't want a passive center fielder.
No, not at all. You want a take charge guy.
Now the set by Dunsing. And he nails the inside corner and gets ahead of Santana 1-2.
That runs route's not circuitously.
No, it wasn't that. Not at all. It wasn't.
You got to run them right.
You know, it has to do with trust too. I mean, that infielder, they go back on fly ball, and they know that outfielder's coming. They're waiting to hear that outfielder. They're taught not to say anything and listen for the outfielder to call them off. And you know, you start damage just like any relationship you have. You start damaging the trust issue of it, and everybody starts playing tentatively, and then you end up playing the way the Twins did defensively last night, and you end up beating yourself, and that's not ever good.
2 down. Cabrera at first. The 2-2 pitch. And Santana chops it to short as Dribble Cabrera was going back to the back. He ended up on first base when Santana swung at that pitch. Indians lead it by a score of 3-0 as we move to the 6th inning. A beautiful night on the Mike Hargrove bobblehead giveaway here at Progressive Field.
There it is.
Look at those beautiful blue eyes.
Look like Rock Hudson.
They first brought me the first model of it to okay it, and this thing was so cross-eyed that your own vision blurred looking at it. And I said, it's cross-eyed. Is it? It is? And I said, well, yeah, look.
Well, yeah, but they weren't paying attention. They thought it was very good.
Yeah.
But you redid it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Down
well,
the
that's
dirt.
neat. You got your own bobblehead. Now, were you able to take any home? Did you get a case?
Oh, you know Sharon.
Look at those two guys.
I think that.
That's awful.
I can't tell which one's which.
Neither could I.
Well, neither could.
Thought we were twins.
Neither could Jim Rosenhaus.
That's right. Who? You mean Mike?
That's going to bring up Denard Span. Rick's going to have an identity crisis before this homestand's over.
I can't wait to go on the road.
Was it Bob from Winter Haven came in last night and talked to you for 15 minutes and then asked you where Rick Manning was?
Yeah. That's a classic right there, folks. Where's Rick?
And Rick tells him he got fired.
I've only known him for 20 years, for goodness sakes.
He doesn't work here anymore.
Yeah, got fired. Oh, geez. I didn't know that.
Oh, man.
I thought he was pulling your leg.
So did I.
It was just a little bit uncomfortable at first, you know.
Yeah, when Rick said he got fired, then it loosened things up.
It did.
And I thought he was pulling your leg there for a while. I really did, but then I figured, well, Bob was so old he can't bend over to grab your leg.
Well, that's what happens. He's got the Winter Haven flu. He forgot I was down there. I must have looked different when I was in Winter Haven. Pretty good chance.
1-1 pitch. And a liner to center and a base hit for Span. Just the third hit of the night for Minnesota. And let's go back to the studios for an in-game update. Here's Al Pulowski.
Hey guys, the Baltimore Orioles off to a good start tonight against the Detroit Tigers. This is Blake Davis, the rookie. This is his first major league home run. It's a 3-run shot, had to be reviewed. It was indeed gone. 5-1, Baltimore leads Detroit, 5th inning in Baltimore. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Al. Here's Matt Tolbert. He drives it to deep right field. Chu is back. He makes the running catch on the warning track. And Span has to retreat to first. Just does beat the throw, although it skips past Laporta anyway. And there are two down.
I knew one thing. When Chu caught that ball, there was no way he wasn't going to throw it back to first base. He is proud of that arm, and I'll tell you, he made it awfully close. I don't know if he had trouble out on that track, getting his footing. Let's see. Nice running catch. He pushes off the wall and says, He double clutched it. Yep. But he will get it all the way there. Laporta couldn't hang on to it. He would have been safe anyway. But a nice running catch by Chu. Welcome back.
But that arm made it close.
Yeah,
a lot closer than it should have been.
Always will. That's true. Always will. That might be the best arm in the league.
Well, Chu was telling me, too, that, with coming back from that thumb injury, fractured thumb, that the skin is very sensitive, very tender. And so he's got, kind of a protective coating on that thumb. And so you wonder sometimes when it comes to throwing the baseball how that might affect your, throwing a baseball is all about feel. And so if you got just even a little bit of, tape around your thumb, you wonder if that affects his accuracy at all. Because there's no question the arm strength hasn't suffered at all.
I was going to say, his arm strength's fine. Yeah, it may, but that was a pretty good throw from a long way out there.
Joe Mauer 1 for 2, a base hit his last time up.
I'll tell you one thing. I know that scared Denard Spahn to death.
Oh yeah,
he had
true.
to hammer down getting back to first.
I got to give you a stat here, Grover. I don't know if you know. This is the 24th start by Tomlin. Nobody has stolen a base off him yet, or even tried.
I wish you hadn't said that.
No, you got to say it. I mean, he does such a good job at holding base runners. This being his second year, but first full year. I mean, he changes it. Boom, boom. He does everything out on the mound very, very well.
We had the master of holding runners on base up here. No, with Gaylord.
Oh.
He'd hold it, go home quick. The thing of it is with Tomlin, you watch, he has really quick feet. His pickoff throw is quick over there. So they really cut their lead down a little bit, and then he's fairly quick home.
Yeah, a little over 1 to home plate. That took him a long time. That was 1-1 on a breaking ball.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Major League average is 1.3.
1.3, and then you figure 2 seconds for the catcher to get the ball to second base if they're accurate.
Right. And most good, Sandy, when we had Sandy here, he was 195, 19.
Right. Anything under 2 is very,
outstanding,
very good.
Yeah. 1-2 pitch. Got in on him. And Mauer drives it to deep right field, but Chu on the track
just
makes
enough.
The catch. So 2 loud fly ball outs to right. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 3-0 Cleveland. takes the field where the Indians hold a 3-0 lead over Minnesota going to the bottom of the 6th inning. It will be Shelley Duncan, Kosuke Fukudome, and Matt Laporta. First time out to the ball game, and for that youngster, so far so good. As Drupal Cabrera's 3-run homer in the 3rd, Josh Tomlin has made it stand up. Brian Dunsing deals, and Duncan just foul, third base side. Next pitch will be number 90 on the night for Brian Dunsing. And Shelley Duncan with a drive to right field, a base hit falling in front of Kubel. And the Tribe gets their leadoff man aboard. That's the 3rd time tonight. All right, let's go back to our trivia question. Between the 20-win seasons, 4 Indians pitchers won 19 games in the season between Gaylord and Cliff Lee. You had one of them,
got one of them. Yeah, you got Barker, CC, Blyleven, Fausto.
Sounds good. You might not have cheated on that one tonight. You might have got that when you were here for those.
Yes, I was. For every one of them.
I don't see John Valentin's name in there anywhere.
There's a little bouncing bunt. And the throw to first gets Fukudome on the sacrifice. And Duncan into scoring position. Late in the game, trying to add to your lead.
Exactly. Yeah, that's, really from the 6th inning on or 7th inning on, you do that. I mean, it makes sense with Fukudome, who's a left-hand hitter against the left-hand pitcher. And
Matt's 2 for 2 tonight. He's had 2 good swings.
I think anytime you get a lead and you have a chance in the middle part of the ball game to add one on and just separate yourself, it's a huge run, even if it's only one.
In the American League, you don't play for 1 run very often because of the extra hit. I mean, the league is built that way. People can say, "Well, you should," but you're really, you're going
against the odds.
Yeah,
if you do.
Exactly right. And
Matt Laporta, almost a 3rd hit tonight, just fouled on that left side.
But Rick's right. You get a lead, you get in the middle part of the mid late in the game, 6th, 7th inning, and you start adding on.
And if you get 1, they have to get 2 to get ahead of you. I mean, it adds on and it helps.
Well, Mike, I'm curious your thoughts on this, because I've had people tell me before that, we can show you the stats, we can show you the numbers, that by sacrificing a runner from first to second base, it doesn't dramatically improve your chances of scoring a run.
Well, you play 162 games, you don't have to dramatically improve statistics at all for it to tell. You score runs and you beat teams by putting pressure on the other team, whether it's by your base running, a threat of taking extra base, or stealing bases. You win by putting pressure, and you move a man from first base to second base to where he's in scoring position. You ratchet up the pressure you put on the other team. You ratchet up the pressure you put on the pitcher. It doesn't work every time. It's we're talking about a sport that if you're a star, if you get hit 3 times out of every 10, so small amounts of advantages can result in big good results, and that's
I was
the only
just
thing.
Really surprised when I heard that. I was really surprised that you're kidding me. It's got to improve your chances. Scoring from second's got to be a whole lot easier than scoring from first.
Well, it's statistics. You can make those things read what you want. It's like the man that drowned in the river that the average depth was 2 inches. The rest he fell off into a 20-foot hole. The rest of the river was only a half inch deep. So you can make them, read and justify what it is you want them to be.
Laporta strikes out, 2 down. Dunsing finally gets him for the first time tonight, and that's 7 strikeouts for the Twins left-hander. And that'll leave it up to Jack Hanahan, who singled his first time up, bounced into a double play his last time to the plate.
And you've got extreme cases like in Toronto, not anymore, but they used to. After their World Series teams, back in
92, 93.
Yeah, exactly. They forbid their managers in the minor leagues and in the big leagues from bunting people over, from hitting and running, because statistically they felt that it didn't improve your chances to win ball games. Well, you know what? If you're aggressive in the game, and you've got to be in the right spot in the right part of the game to be aggressive. But if you're aggressive in the game, it picks everybody up on your team. Everybody else's mental state gets a little bit sharper. You're a little more, you're a little more on the balls of your feet, and it makes for a more exciting feeling on the bench, and that's how you create, kind of the aggressive winning attitude.
Atmosphere, right?
Yeah, exactly, the atmosphere, and that's why in spring training I had standing orders. All our runners in spring training on the bases, read the ball in the dirt. From the pitcher, read the ball in the dirt. If you read it in the dirt, take off. If you get thrown out, it's on me. But you want to create that mindset that we're going to take the extra base. We're going to move from first to second and get in position to score. Or we're going to be on second base. We're going to move from second to third to where, the opportunities to score, just
enhance.
Enhance. And you want to see your team pick up that kind of aggressive, mental state, and it really translates really well.
99th pitch of the night for Brian Dunsing right here. With 2 down and a runner at second, Jack Hanahan takes strike 3 called. So Dunsing gets back-to-back strikeouts to get out of further damage here in the 6th. It remains 3-0 Cleveland. And by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. It's time to join the Hyundai movement. Justin Morneau, first ball swinging. It's a fair ball, and it goes over the glove of Matt Laporta. And now Morneau's going to turn and get to second base. Now Matt Laporta was there.
That one went right over the bag. He doesn't catch it, and it deflects. That'll go as a double for Morneau.
Fourth hit of the night for Minnesota. 14 of the 22 Minnesota batters make it 15 of 23 have seen 3 pitches or less.
Well, there's no reason to sit around for Tomlin. He throws that many strikes. As a hitter, I'd do the same thing. I mean, the longer you sit and wait for him, you'll be down in the count 0-2-1-2, because I mentioned how many times he's done that tonight. The guy doesn't throw a lot of pitches. He hasn't thrown 100 pitches in his last 13 or 14 starts.
One of the things that's changed in the game, I think, over the years is, back when we played, it was the 0-2 count. You didn't want to throw a strike. They taught you throw the ball up and in or down and win a purpose pitch to set something else up.
Don't let a guy get a hit.
Not anymore. The 0-2 pitch, people are coming right at you, and I agree with that. You get a hit 0-2, just don't let it be a good hit. But if you're going to make your pitch 0-2 and make them put the ball in play, and it takes your pitch count down and allows you to pitch deeper in ball games, I think it's a great, thing.
I was thinking about that. You have to now go at hitters 0-2 because if you're on a 100 pitch count or 110 and you're going to mess around after your 0-2, then you're in trouble because you won't be around long.
You're right.
When they didn't have pitch counts back when we were playing, then it didn't matter. You could do whatever you wanted to do. But today it makes it a little bit different.
Well, people have pitch counts and they pay attention to pitch counts now because it keeps your especially your starting pitchers stronger, longer, and your starters are starters for a reason. They're usually the best pitchers on your team, and you want them out there as much as you possibly can. And statistics have proven that most guys get around 100 to 120 pitches, and especially 100 pitches, they start losing something on their fastball.
Right.
They start. And, it's not so much they start losing velocity, but they start losing their location and command. The ball, instead of staying down, it starts coming up in the zone. And balls up in the zone, I don't care how hard you throw, a ball up in the zone gets hit awfully, awfully hard.
Tim Belcher taking his time and explaining the situation to Tomlin and Santana.
Well, he's just letting Joe Smith get ready out in the bullpen.
Rafael Perez had been up throwing, but he quickly sat down, and they got Smith up in a hurry. You've got back-to-back right-handed hitters following Jim Thome here.
Well, this is the first guy that's been to second base tonight.
The 2-0. And a strike called over the outside corner.
Nice changeup.
Tomlin ready now in the 2-1 to Thome. Threw it by him. No foul tip into the glove of Santana. It's 2-2. It's outside, a full count. Thome popped up to second base in the second inning, fly to center in the fifth. If he gets aboard, Danny Valencia would be the tying run at the plate. And the payoff pitch is ball 4. First walk issued by Tomlin. And now the right-handed hitting Danny Valencia.
Well, let's look at the sequence to Jim Thome. And you're going to see how Josh Tomlin, was a breaking ball that he missed with for ball 1. Then he comes right back. That was a pretty good pitch there. Call the ball. 2-0 changeup. Nice pitch. He's able to get another one over. Breaking ball. Missed away with a 2-seam fastball. And then the other little cutter breaking ball inside miss. So that was his one walk. And Manny Acta going to the bullpen.
A disappointed Josh Tomlin is going to get the hook with 2 on and 1 out here in the 7th inning. And the call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE. Rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world.
Indians lead at 3-0 here. Top half of the 7th inning. There's 2 on. They'll go to the bullpen, and the Indians will wrap up this homestand against the Twins tomorrow. And all kids can enjoy the Kids Fun Day out on the plaza. Plus, they can move it around the bases after the ball game. Get your tickets at Indians.com. Bullpen on this homestand has been outstanding. 16 in the 3rd innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 14 strikeouts, have not allowed a run.
Danny Valencia 0 for 2 tonight. And Joe Smith gets ahead with a first pitch strike.
Same thing that happened in Tomlin's last start down in Texas, except he went out into the 8th and he had pitched 7 innings. This was 6 1/3. He left with he walked a man and a base hit. Man, he went to the bullpen, brought in Joe Smith. Joe Smith couldn't, close it off, and that's when Texas ended up winning 5-3. They scored all 5 runs in that bottom half of the 8th inning.
Bounced foul first base side. And now Smith ahead, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, this is what, as a right-handed hitter, you'll do. You'll try and wait on that ball as long as possible, take him the other way. That was a slider, though. He doesn't want to roll over on one and give him a double play ball.
In the air, shallow right center. Chu is there. He makes the catch, 2 down. Well, Baltimore had a big lead over Detroit early in that game tonight. Al Pawlowski joins us now to tell us if they're still on top.
Well, Matt, not exactly. They blew the lead. They were up 5-0. Detroit has come back. They scored a run in the 4th and 5 here in the 6th inning. And Ryan Rayburn with this 2 RBI single to center puts Detroit ahead 6-5. They're now heading to the bottom of the 6th, but now the Tigers are on top. Matt, back to you.
All right, thanks, Al. Delman Young takes the first pitch strike. Young 0 for 2 tonight. A little bit outside to even the count. Long rain delay tonight in Chicago. They're just getting underway. The White Sox and the Royals.
That doesn't mean it's heading this way tomorrow, does it?
Oh.
Oh, no.
I don't know about that.
Just checking.
At the knees, outside corner. And it's 2-2.
Good pitch right there, outside edge.
Two on, 2 out. Here in the 7th inning. The 2-2 pitch. In the air, right field, dropping near the line. Fair ball. Chu up with it. He's going to throw to home, and Santana won't be able to get him. And the tying run is at first base now for Minnesota.
Chu made a mistake right there trying to come home with it. He had Jim Thome dead to rights at third base. If he decides to go there, you give that run with 2 outs. You're going to be off and running with the ball off the bat. And they didn't pinch run for Thome, and all of a sudden this bloops in. And there's nothing you can do about that, okay? But he had Jim Thome dead to rights at third base. He chooses to go home, and it's not even close. He wouldn't have got him anyway. And that's going to do it for Joe Smith.
Well, he also got lucky in the fact that Delman Young tried to duck out of the way instead of going on to second base and get the winning run, the tying run at second base. That's
He hit the deck in a hurry, didn't he?
I don't blame him. I would have too. But, there's a time to be aggressive and a time to kind of pull your horns in a little bit, and that was the time to play the game the right way and give up the run, but keep the winning run out of scoring position, or nail the guy at third base, which he had a shot at.
Welcome back, and you don't want to miss out on a chance for you and a guest to watch a game with Mike Hargrove, his wife Sharon, from their suite right here at Progressive Field. And tickets are only $20. You're charging that much. 5 winners will be drawn.
You spend enough money,
Well,
Sharon doesn't have to be there.
If you give me 10, then I'm going to buy some. Go by section 153 and get them. They're going to have a chance to spend an evening and watch a ball game with Mike and Sharon. It'll be a lot of fun. What's on the menu that
be a
night?
blast.
Have you decided steak and lobster?
Yeah. At the suite next door.
Well, that'll be mine then. We'll go there.
Tsuyoshi Nishioka, 1 for 2 on the night, steps in. Swing and a miss. Rafael Perez ahead now 0-2. Jim Tomey's at third, tying run Delman Young at first with 2 down here in the 7th. And Rafael Perez with the 0-2 pitch. And he strikes him out. Rafael Perez comes in, and on 3 pitches, he gets the Indians out of the inning. It's 3-1 Tribe as we've reached the Cleveland Clinic 7th inning stretch. Indians fans, time to get up and let's move it. 7th inning. Go to Panini'sGrill.com for their new food and drink menu and a location near you. Ezekiel Carrera will lead off the home half of the 7th. Brian Dunsing's 100th pitch of the night is bunted. Dunsing, a long flip, and it's a close play at first. Tolbert just did get there in time to record the out. Carrera 0 for 3 on the night.
Well, when you're a second baseman, you've got a hitter like that. You've got to make sure you get to first base on a play like this because the first baseman's charging. And once the pitcher can get it, your job as a second baseman is to beat that guy to first base, and he just barely does. He in comes Morneau. There's the flip. Sliding, and he just does get him.
Man, that looks like a play that could have ended up a lot worse for Carrera, sliding in there to first base. Foot really went in awkwardly onto the bag. Well, luckily, he's okay. Here's Shin-Soo Choo taking a strike. Choo 0 for 2, but he walked and scored in the Indians' 3-run third. Foul back out of play. Tony Sipp now heating up in the Indians' pen.
Most generally on a bunt play like that, if you can get the first baseman to field the ball, you're going to be safe because you will beat that second.
Right.
The second baseman are usually taught to come straight in. You get the first baseman to field the ball, there's nobody at first base.
2 down as Choo strikes out.
Yeah, the key's getting it past the pitcher.
Exactly.
That's 9 strikeouts for Brian Dunsing, and it's going to bring up Jason Donald, who singled and scored back in the third.
That is definitely a season high in strikeouts for Dunsing.
Inside to Donald for ball 1.
And that's a career high for strikeouts. No, I'm sorry. He has 8 in his career. No, he's got 9 tonight, so it is a career high.
Don't doubt yourself.
I always do.
Dunsing deals the 2-0. And a chopper to third. It's a foul ball.
Okay, good. You get another at bat, another swing at least. He would have been out. That was close.
Valencia with a long look. He's looking like he thought maybe it was a fair ball.
You check it out. It hit the line, and it did hit the line, but it was before third base. He was right on it down there, Paul Nauer.
The 2-1. Rip fair on the first base line. And this is extra bases for Donald. He's going to turn and burn head for third. No relay throw. It's a triple for Donald.
Well, Jason's first triple of the year, and that was right over the first base bag. That was fair. Into the corner. I didn't see if Kubel had any problem digging it out down there, but
looked like he was waiting for a carom that never came.
You get it down into the corner, and you make that read on your own. He knows he's going for second. Take that peek, and then he made that decision. Let me put my head down. I'm going to third, and it was no contest. Because on the relay, it looked like it short hopped the relay man. Either that or it just stopped. He was waiting for it. There you go. That little hesitation there where that ball got stuck in the corner, and then the bad relay throw. They'll put Cabrera on.
Well, as Drupal hit a 3-run homer in the third, he had a base hit in the 5th. Ron Geyer said, I'm not going to let this guy beat us again. And they'll go after Carlos Santana, who's 0 for 3 on the night.
How do you want to pitch to Santana, from the left side or the right side?
It depends. Who's he have in the bullpen?
I'm not sure who was getting loose. Does he stay with Dunsing? He's got one of each. Well, when you should.
Well, we've talked about this. Right-handed, he's swinging the bat much better average-wise. Power-wise, though, all the pop seems to be from the left side.
Well, we'll see what Gardy wants to do here. He's going to make a move, though.
Well, if you do something, you bring the right-hander in, you bring the hole into play because he'll be hitting from the left side.
Right.
I think he wants the right-hander.
So I think that the way he's swinging the bat from the right side,
you bring in
you bring in the right-hander and let him have the hole.
So we've got a timeout. Right-hander coming on. Santana will bat left-handed with 2 on and 2 out here in the 7th. The Indians scored 11 runs in the first inning against Kansas City, highlighted by a Travis Hafner grand slam. Alex Burnett, right-hander, coming on. Carlos Santana will bat left-handed, 0 for 3 on the night. Those 3 at-bats came from the right side. And Santana looks at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 1. Runner goes. Santana swinging a miss. And Cabrera waltzes into second with his 16th stolen base of the year. Up high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Second and third, 2 down here in the home half of the 7th. Indians leading at 3-1. Santana trying to give him a little breathing room. Jason Donald, 2-out triple. And as Drupal Cabrera intentionally walked, he swiped second. Now the 1-2 to Santana. He evens things up now.
Those are his show fastballs right there. He's now going to throw him one for a strike. He's going to come back and attack him with something off speed because first base is open. You have Duncan on deck.
Struck him out. And we go to the 8th. 3-1 Cleveland.
This game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland.
Eighth inning here at Progressive Field. Indians up 3-1, and now Tony Sipp coming on to pitch the 8th inning. He'll be facing Denard Span, Matt Tolbert, and Joe Mauer. Appearance number 55 for Sipp, 2.74 ERA, 6 wins, 2 losses, 45 strikeouts in 49 1/3 innings of work. Denard Span, who will lead off, is 1 for 3 on the night. The 1-0 from Sipp evens the count up. Tony's allowed 1 earned run in his last 9 games. His ERA at home this year is 1.63. Threw it by Span, 1-2 the count. He's pitched 2 more games at home than he has on the road so far this year. Wow. Span able to lay off a close pitch. And it's 2-2. Chopped to short. And it's Dribble Cabrera. Throws him out, 1 away. Our attendance tonight, 30,619 on this Mike Hargrove bobblehead night. as the Indians try to make it 2 straight over the Twins. Keep the pressure on front-running Detroit. Tigers still lead Baltimore 6-5. They're in the 7th inning in Maryland. Matt Tolbert 0 for 3. Fly to deep right his last time up. Going that way again. Chu is under it. 2 down. Joe Mauer 1 for 3 tonight, 1 for 7 in the series. Series finale tomorrow at 1 o'clock here at Progressive Field. And the Indians will hit the road for a very important 6 games in the division. 3 at Chicago, 3 in Detroit.
Well, and that's a nice string to get through. And if they can get through and hold their head above water, they come home and they have their longest homestand of the year with 3 teams to play and a lot of action going on. Pretty much closing out the month of August.
In the air, left field, Carrera on the move, can't get to it. Well, interesting that you bring that up, Rick, about the Indians coming back home for their long homestand, because they've only got 2 weekend series left at home the rest of the season.
I know. That's why if they hold their head on this road trip up and come back in really good shape, they have got to make their push there, because September's a lot on the road. So this is when you really want to make a push.
Two down, and the base is empty, and the 0-2 pitch coming to Mauer. Right back to the mound, and Tony Sipp equal to the task. Throws him out. 1-2-3 go the Twins. It remains 3-1 Cleveland.
Full moon, my man. There it is.
Well, maybe that explains why Ron Gardenhire is coming out now to make a pitching change after Burnett warmed up the entire time in between innings.
Yeah, that's right. They made the move. Duncan was a scheduled hitter. Had to wait till he was announced, and then comes the left-hander.
So we've got a timeout. Pitching change here in Cleveland. 3-1 Tribe in the bottom of the 8th. Shelly Duncan. And with that, Ron Gardenhire making the move to the left-hander, Phil Dumatre. Chisenhall, 240 hitter. 3 homers, 7 runs batted in. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Down low, 2 balls, no strikes. In the air to left. Delman Young makes the grab, 1 away. Tonight's box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers, introducing the Hyundai Assurance Trade-In Value Guarantee. Well, the big blast is Dribble Cabrera with a 3-run homer back in the 3rd. That's been it for the Indians offensively.
That's right. One swing of the bat has taken care of all the runs for the Indians.
Kosuke Fukudome, 1 for 2 with the sacrifice bunt. High breaking ball called a strike. And the fastball gets Dumatre ahead in the count, 0-2. And a line drive base hit in the left field for Fukudome. And a 1-out base runner now for Matt Laporta, who is 2 for 3 with 2 singles on the night. You know, he got that high pitch called for a strike early in the at bat, and I wonder if Fukudome was just thinking, if it's up around the letters, I better be swinging.
You know, it makes it easier to go to left field if it's upstairs. You just get the barrel of the bat to the ball, and he's going to go back for the right-hander now. So it's matchup time for Minnesota.
Timeout in Cleveland, 3-1 Indians. The bottom of the 8th inning. Join Manny Acta and other celebrities for a party in the park on East 4th Street Thursday, August 25th from 5 to 10. You'll enjoy celebrity bowling, billiards, and a silent auction at the corner alley with free concerts, giveaways, and more on East 4th Get involved, buy tickets, and check it all out at impactakids.org. Matt Capps on for the 50th time this year. Righty-righty matchup. Matt Laporta, 2 for 3 on the night, standing in. Bangs it foul over at the end of the Indians' dugout, and Shin-Soo Choo almost got nailed by that ball. Right now he's thinking to myself, huh? I just got healthy, just got off the DL. You know, Grover, I was just thinking to myself, all those years you sat in that dugout without that screen.
That's right.
Now every dugout has a protective screen.
Iron men and wooden ships. We were tough back then. Remember Matt Keogh, the pitcher from Oakland that got hurt in spring training, got hit with a line drive in the dugout and almost killed him. There in Scottsdale, the hospital was just not even half a block away. If they saved it, hadn't been that close, he probably wouldn't have made it. And ever since then, they started putting these screens out in front of the dugout, which are really good. It makes it tough to watch the game. It's hard to sit down and watch the game.
Well, I'm waiting for the screening to extend for the fans. You know, it's behind home plate, but I'm talking about with the bats, the way they go nowadays.
They do that in Japan. Japan, they've got it all the way down the lines.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that around here in the near future.
Up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, as you say, Grover, I mean, the screens in front of the dugout are a great idea, but now everybody just stands on top of the screen, essentially. So, I mean, it helps some of the guys, but most of them are leaning on top of that screen, so it helps to a certain degree, but they've still got to move quickly to get out of the way.
So you want them to cover the top of the dugout, too. Yeah.
Matt Laporta with a high fly ball, left center. Span calling for it. 2 down. Stick around after the ball game for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. Conrad's, home of the lowest everyday tire price guarantee. We'll have the highlights and the Indians. If they hang on to win this one, we'll talk with one of the stars of the game as well and look forward to tomorrow afternoon's series finale right here at Progressive Field. Hope to see you down here at the ballpark tomorrow. If not, we'll have it for you on Channel 3. As David Huff makes his return to the Indians. Jack Hanahan, 1 for 3 on the night.
Watching Sandy Alomar walk up to Fukudome at first base, it reminds me when I was in Seattle, I had one time I was sitting on the bench and looking out on the field, and I've got a Japanese catcher goes out to talk to a Korean pitcher at a Dominican third baseman. and then an American Richie Sexton, and I'm thinking there's not a common language between them. What can they be talking about?
A lot of guys looking down at the dirt, kicking the 0-1 pitch. And Hanahan cuts and misses.
They've all got their glove up over their face.
So
no way to read their lips.
I know it. Well, what you say? It's like one of those movies that they put the subtitles down below.
You need a guy that could read lips in 6 different languages to figure out what might be going on.
Guy from the United Nations has to come in.
When they came off the field, I got the interpreter over to talk to Jojo, the catcher, who's a good guy, good catcher. And I said, ask him what they were talking about and who was doing the talking.
You just wanted to find out, didn't you?
Yeah, I figured they're probably talking about me, so I didn't.
Jack Hanahan trying to keep the inning alive for the Indians here. Down on the count 1-2 with 2 down and a runner at first. You saw Chris Perez awaiting in the Indians bullpen. Hanahan strikes out, and it's Chris Perez time here at Progressive Field. Indians lead it 3-1. Ninth inning here at Progressive Field, 3-1. Indians lead it. Chris Perez on for the Indians, looking for save number 25. He worked a 1-2-3 ninth inning to get his 24th save in last night's game. Last night, he retired Matt Tolbert, Joe Mauer, and Justin Morneau. Tonight, he's got Justin Morneau, Jason Kubel, and Jim Thome. All 3 left-handed hitters.
Well, you got to run to work with, though. You got to make them hit their way on.
Two 2-0.
That's right. He had his first career at bat against Perez last night.
Taking all the way there. Perez gets it over for a strike. And a liner towards center field. Fukudome makes the head-high catch. 1 away. Grover, I suppose, I've never been in that seat, but I'm supposing that as a manager, you're in the ninth inning, you've got your closer in there. You've done everything you can to this point to get yourself in this position. Are you done managing at this point, or are you still thinking worst-case scenario, what's next?
Well, you're still thinking. You still have to, you really do have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And even though you've got the right people in the right spot, that you still, if this happens, what happens? How far we go into the lineup before you think about making a change with your closer. It's a real difficult thing for a manager, I think, to make a change with his closer. He's out there for a reason, and unless he's just absolutely lost it, you'll stay with him longer than you would somebody else.
So in that regard, this is the toughest part of the game for you because you just got to sit back and watch now.
That's exactly right. You sit there and, the most important thing, obviously you want your closer to have an out pitch, either, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball or a split or some major league out pitch. And then the next thing you really want, your closer really needs to throw strikes.
Yeah,
that's the toughest thing. Don Stanhouse, who used to pitch for Baltimore, used to. I think Earl Weaver called him Two-Pack Don because he smoked about 2 packs of cigarettes watching him pitch the 9th inning. So it can be a little hair raising.
Well, Chris Perez has fallen behind Kubel 3-1 with Jim Thome waiting on deck. And Kubel swinging away, fouls it out of play, full count. Perez payoff pitch. Little tapper back to the mound. Chris has it. Little flip to first, 2 down. And so now Jim Thome comes to the plate, 0 for 2 on the night. And 0 for 4 in the series. Twins down 2. And Chris Perez 1 out away from nailing down his 25th save of the year. Shift on right side of the infield. Outfield straight away and plenty deep, and it's strike 1 to Thome. The 0-1. No balls, 2 strikes, off speed pitch gets Perez ahead in the count. And now everybody up on their feet, 30,619. And the 2-strike pitch is strike 3 call. Chris Perez for the second night in a row works a 1-2-3 ninth to nail it down.
He's my favorite player.
3-1 the final score as the Indians beat the Twins for the second night in a row. And now, Rick, they've won back-to-back series. And hopefully tomorrow they will finish off a sweep.
They got an opportunity now, like they did against Detroit, to win that 3rd and final game and go for the sweep. It was another clean game. One swing of the bat helped the Indians. And, yeah, very nice. I like that. The 1-2-3 is my favorite player, too.
Well, guys, I'll see you in September.
Yeah. Oh, you're leaving us
That's
already?
it, I'm out of here.
Okay.
I've taken all. I've stood you as long as I can stand.
We forgot to tell you, you've got the post-game show on your own.
With the win, the Indians are 60-57 on the year. Twins dropped to 52-67. Winning pitcher Josh Tomlin, he's 12-5. Perez, the save, is 25th. Loser Brian Dunsing, he's 8-11. Time now for our play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank. Thanks for making KeyBank the #1 bank in Northeast Ohio.
Well, the one swing of the bat that propelled the Indians to victory today, a 3-run home run by Asdrubal Cabrera, and that was a milestone, number 20 for him. That was a ball he tried to go to right field on earlier in his first at-bat. He pulled this one onto the home run porch. That made it 3-0 and was able to stand up. That's going to be our KeyBank key play of the game.
So Tribe a winner 3-1. And we're back to recap it on the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show. It's coming up next.